welcome to the Firepower Podcast. This is a show about the Firepower comic book series by Robert Kirkman, Chris Samnee, Russ Wooten, and Matt Wilson. I'm your host, Bash, and I'm joined by my friend and my fellow host, Charlie, but also we've got a special guest, one of our other fellow hosts from another podcast, the Radiant Black Podcast and the Rogue Sun Podcast. So check out the Massiverse if you haven't. It's Radiant Matt. How are you doing today, guys?
I'm doing well. It's
go for it,
it's good to have you here, man. It's good to have you here. This is one that we've all been talking about for a long time. Issue 28. You guys have read it a long time ago. This is one I've kind of been waiting to read for the show. So got a lot of thoughts. Can't wait to get into it. Nice to have you here, Matt. First of all, kind of before you get into it, how are you doing, and what are your thoughts on the series? Like on a total.
I'm doing good. Bash introduced me to Firepower a few years ago, like when it started. Got the old OGN over there pointing the right way the first time. But yeah, I love this series, right? Like this is like a great series. I was captivated like everyone when you first read that like nice little volume that dives you in with a little like prelude. And these are really cool characters, and big Kirkman fan, as anyone who's heard me on a podcast would know. Like, love that guy and his writing, right? Like his works. And I'll take him to task though when he does stuff that pisses me off as rarely as it is. And I feel like this is going to be one of those times because this issue, I mean, if someone wasn't a COO, they'd be fired power because, like, Jesus Christ. Like, we'll get into it. The artwork's amazing. I want to say, I do love the series. Samnee's artwork, it's warm, right? Like, not even with the firepower. Like, it's warm. It's comfortable. Like, it's really, really unique and great. And I love it. And I feel like, they're a killer team. And I don't know, this issue. We'll get into it.
Yeah. It's for those of you who don't know, Matt got me into Oblivion Song. So I returned the favor by recommending another Kirkman book that was coming out, which is Firepower. And we really loved it, like hardcore since the beginning.
Who got into Invincible first? Was that you, Bash?
Bash.
Yeah,
was you.
Yeah, but it was like we were both super late to it, so there's no real stroke there. It's just like we're both super late, and then we both read it very fast because we were both super into it. And we were talking, we were like constantly talking to each other, like, "Oh my god, did you get this?" Like, "Oh yeah, dude, it's fucking crazy." It's like, "Bro, this is crack." I'm like, "Yeah, it's very addicting." It's just like very hard to put it down. You know what I'm saying?
You can tell when Kirkman's invested, and you can tell him when he isn't.
Yeah. And Oblivion Song was amazing. Like I love that book, and like that book got so much better after issue 7. The first arc's slow, a lot of world building set up, and goes crazy, and it's just like never comes back, and it ends so well. So it was really hard to see like this book, the final arc. We were talking, me and Charlie last episode, like Kirkman's usually known for ending series really well on a high note, very satisfying endings. To often sad, of course, because he loves to kill people off, but. Yeah, like this series, I feel like it's the first real kind of miss. The ending's kind of missed. It's not terrible, but I feel like it's not very satisfying, and I don't feel like it polishes. Like it's not a good end note to this entirely like fantastic series where it's so strong, so consistent. And this is up until 25. Like up until 25, I think the issue's solid. It was only after 26 where I'm like, this feels rushed. And we were speculating maybe it's because he got Energon, but. Energon universe, with the Void Rivals and all of that. Who knows for sure? But
I don't know. And actually, something I do want to say, kind of before we get into this, which I was surprised about actually is, and I think I heard you say something similar earlier, Bash. But I know for me, like I'm kind of a newer comic book reader than you guys. But this ending really did change literally my entire perspective on indie comics. How they're put together and kind of the pacing of them. And it didn't give me more worry, but like now I'm thinking, oh, like my worst fear is Radiant Black to end like this. My worst fear is Rogue Sun to end like this. So just seeing how well stories can go, and we don't know if it's a priority change or if it was something along those lines, but just seeing how great this story was, how much he set up, and you were saying about Oblivion Song, it's really good. It ramped up into something so spectacular. This really ramped up and then kind of just completely fell off the ramp instantly, and never made it up to the top. So that's kind of what I feel about that, unfortunately. But this issue has a lot. First question: how many issues do you guys think could have turned? How many issues do you think could this
We could have mined
issue
from this?
single-handedly expand into?
A lot.
I think at least an arc.
Five?
I think 6.
Yeah.
I think an
5 or
arc.
6
I think
issues.
easily an arc in this issue.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I got. So
Now
yeah,
the
I
series
was
needs an arc.
just disappointed in that.
Yeah. No. Dog, like you could tell, like I was reading this, and you guys probably were like, I want to see these scenes. I wanted to be shown, not told. It was, some of it just felt lazy, and I feel like it was masked by having it being told through Doug's perspective. So it seemed childish. From like, I feel like I'm being gypped. Anyways, we can get into the covers or whatever. We'll dive into like the discussion.
Couple great covers. I will say, great covers. One of the best of the series. One of the best of the series.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking. But before I show you cover, I want to say something, and I think personally, this is just my opinion. I'm not trying to speak for Robert Kirkman. I'm not trying to say this is the way. I'm saying personally, I always feel like everything should always be in service of the story. The story should come first. If you feel like this is where the story should end, then it should end. But you shouldn't try to take a structure, which is the 36 issue structure of Oblivion Song, of mid. What's the word? The book you did before that starts with M. I forget the word. Outcast. Outcast. Of Outcast will work for Outcast. Will work for Oblivion Song. But I don't think you should try to fit something into a structure just to make it serve that structure. I think the story should serve the story, and it should go on as long as the story feels like it should. Not like I have 36 issues, the thing worked for me, the formula works for me, then I'm gonna try to make it work now. And it's just like to your both of your points, I feel like that's partly what happened here, is that like that wasn't another arc, and he was like, no, but it doesn't fit that structure, and now we have the energon. Like, this is just us speculating. We don't know if that's what actually happened. And now he was like, okay, let's like fast forward it, and like this is a way we could do that where it doesn't feel too gimmicky, except it was a gimmick. It was a gimmick, 100%. It was gimmicky as fuck. So let's get into it.
And 30 could blow our minds, right? Like Kirkman could knock it out of the park with 30, but it's like right now, I don't know what's retroactively going to make 28 like digestible.
Yeah, I haven't read 29, but yeah, he's got a lot of work to do, and yeah, he did a lot of work in this too. But yeah, I think you nailed it. There is this issue was definitely just too much. Tell don't show, like that was the complete kind of that kind of really made this hard to digest. Not hard to digest, but just afterwards, just wanting so much more.
It felt like your friends showing you photos of their vacation to me. That's what it felt like. It's like, look how much fun we had.
Even the covers feel repetitive because there's nothing they can convey about the story evolving. It's just every fucking cover is a fireball coming at someone or them looking at the dragon. And it's just like, to the point, because covers are meant to be like little capsules or little glimpses into what's happening in the issue. It's meant to summarize it well. Not always, but more often than not, that is the case. We're not talking about variants. We're talking about cover A. And it's just like, while this does somewhat show what happens, it also kind of doesn't, because that doesn't actually happen. It's like, right? So it's just like, I remember thinking like, what the fuck? The covers feel so random. Like, they don't feel like they're really conveying anything evolving or changing. It just kind of feels like it's another action scene.
Yeah. And it feels like the story got tired of itself to me.
Yep.
Like, it's like we're going to skip along. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. And I think just like, the thing that sits hardest to me is personally is just like the explanation of this whole thing. I don't know if we want to get into this yet, of why this issue specifically was written this way, or why he explained it was written this way. In the RC Coda, they just said, I was like, you could have, he says, you could have 6 issues of battle, but you actually did those 6 issues. Things would be fairly repetitious. They fought the dragon once before. They fought Master Shaw once before. There's things that people who are reading the series have already seen. So I had these 2 problems of needing to make things seem vibrant, fresh, and new, even though we're treading some of the same ground.
You did the same thing in Oblivion Song when it went from one city being invaded or on the inside to the outside, and then all cities being invaded. You did the same thing in Invincible when multiple characters fought the same character just to showcase evolution or the change in relationship between respective characters.
No
so it's like, why is this different?
And we love it. We love it. Like
we love it. Exactly.
Did we love the kind of spoilers, but did we love the Viltrumite War for the concept of what it was, or did we love it seeing all those little clones get absolutely mauled over, like the little moments that you actually remember in your head? So we're going to go through these issues, and or this issue in particular and hear about all these battles, but it's nothing that, for me, it's one of the most unmemorable issues, because it definitely, for you, like you said, it feels like we're being shown pictures of these things, being shown pictures of one of our friends' vacations. So it's definitely kind of frustrating, and it's like I said, it's like after A New Hope, they fought Vader before. We're just gonna do a whole crawl and for Empire Strikes Back, and we'll just explain it to you. We'll just explain what happened.
You're gonna skip Jedi, Return of the Jedi. It's just gonna be Luke throwing Palpatine down. That's it.
Yeah,
that's it. That's the end.
It feels like you spent hours rolling a joint and the paper just burned on the way, and you didn't inhale any of it. Like, that's what it feels like.
By the way, we do not promote smoking weed. We're just giving a simile here, a metaphor. So.
No, it's just a metaphor. My friends
100%.
told me that, like, it happened one time. But this was bullshit. Like, you want to see those battles, and Charlie, you said earlier these issues, it was a Freudian slip because it feels like multiple issues in one fucking issue. Like,
feels like a whole arc in one issue. And I know, like, and unfortunately, kind of going to the Massiverse, these, like, we've been having these issues with Dead Lucky too. I don't want to go too far into that, but feeling the same kind of way of, it didn't really feel like Melissa completely knew from the beginning, like setting up all these things, where exactly it was going to end and how much time she had to explore these things. And this was like way worse than that. I felt like that issue was maybe 2 or 3 issues into that issue 11. This was a whole arc, at least. You could push 2 arcs with how much, with how slow of pace this series has been. This is 2 arcs. Like, it's absolutely insane. And a lot of these moments, I would have loved to see. So just like literally just going to the first page, like we hear them. We saw that moment early in the series of Owen flying. Now we hear Doug gets to do it, but he wasn't able to do it. So Owen pushes him into some random person's pool. It's a great moment. But it's just something we're told. So it's complete. Like, it doesn't really mean much, unfortunately.
You can't tell about the conflict of how Master Shaw got stopped here. You can't talk about that in detail because you saw, like, I've got 3 sentences to say about it, then I don't know what the hell happened. I didn't see it. Like, that's not good and not engaging for these moments. Like, I saw one splash page. And Kirkman said in the RC Coda, like, we promised this splash page that we had to do. I'm like, I'd be cool if you didn't do it if it meant this. Like, it's like, you don't have to purposely go to your way to do it if you don't have the stuff for it. And they acted like this was fantastic, but, like, bruh, it was cope.
Yep. So we got cover A here by Samnee and Wilson. I mean, the cover is as same as the artwork has always been very consistent, very, very good, and awesome stuff. No complaints, of course. One of my favorite variants of the entire series.
That's the fight we need. This is the fight we need right here. Come on, issue 30. Issue 30 this is what he's pulling out here.
Is it sad? I'm more excited about this cover than like anything in the last 2, like 28 and 29. This cover is the most exciting aspect of those for me. Like,
do you guys think Peanut Butter could get the firepower? Do you think animals could? He's gonna be desperate about his family, right? His family's gone. He's gonna be desperate, you know.
Dude, watch that be how they end the book. He's just like sleeping at home. He wakes up and now he can just channel the firepower.
Flames out of his eyes.
Seeing Bill die, seeing Bill's death right there. He's got the firepower now. No, my pseudo grandfather. Let's do it. Let's just. I'm literally. That's pretty much the only thing I'd be interested in going forward.
But awesome.
Great cover.
Guys.
Great cover. Yeah, great cover. Colors are colors. Who is this by again? Sorry.
I think it's Benjamin Dewey. Yeah, Benjamin Dewey.
Benjamin Dewey, and then we get another Andre Bresson.
So Bresson Walking Dead cover there with Rick, of course, and Owen. That's really cool. I bought this one too. I thought this was beautiful. Yeah, really cool.
No, like
Zombie's head flying off there, and like Rick has the firepower,
like
low key, right?
Almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I forgot. Not Hadouken, it's almost like a Shoryuken almost. It's like a little uppercut, which is fucking sick. Like, I love this. Like, we want to like this, and like, it's not repetitious. I could watch this all day. With the martial arts genre, repetition is almost implied. You'll see a lot of repetition to see strength and form and all this stuff, but you can always get creative and do different shit. Like, you have to bring in Rick, like,
especially all the comparisons to Dragon Ball. Like, first off, in this series, like what's Dragon Ball? Literally the entire series
never got tired.
Exactly. So
it's weird because like it's also like you establish that the point of the series is to have less verbose like moments, less like a lot of discussion or chatting and more emotional moments where it's scenery or action or just allowing the artwork to do the breathing. And this issue is kind of like, it goes against that theme that you've established, and not only in that sense, but in the sense of you've made it clear that like you have no intent of exploring these masters that are surplus to requirements, the ones like Shun and all the other ones, not necessarily Waylon. So it's like once you've established this, that you're not looking to explore that part of the lore, like why then backpedal away from the action, which is the heart of the series, aside from the family, the melodrama and the connections and the love and all that. It's like, it's weird. It's like this. It's like the series is basically half action and half family moments, and then you just sacrifice this half, not really for any reason, just because you felt like
kind of both halves. Like even the family moments in those small dialogue moments, right? Like literally both halves of that. We sacrifice everything just to be told what happens. Like what
happened to Ling's
reading the cliff notes of Firepower.
She's still watching them. She's still peeping on them. Like what's happening there? Like what? You just skip shit. Yeah. You just literally.
Yeah. Like, hopefully we get back. Hopefully we get back to Reggie and Ling Zan. They got a good thing going on there. We got some fun. Ping and Wei Lun still have a happy ever ending. That's due. So lots of stuff.
I'm not really like huge on how they've divvied out the firepower too. Like, okay, the kids get it, but now with Kelly getting it, it's just too much for
me.
So convenient. Yeah, and it makes everyone else look like losers. Like if one person did it, but like people figured it out. Like you may as well give it the peanut butter. You don't have to be like related to. It's not the Johnson.
No, I honestly think that's possible. I actually do think that could be possible. I do think that could be possible, and I'm not gonna be surprised when it happens.
They may as well, because Firepower is like the family, right? It's like the family dynamic and like love and like passion and shit.
Yeah,
exactly.
The first page and the second page, like the first page where you see the first letter and Bill, like it's Bill, right? His name's Bill. Bill. Yeah, he's opening the letter and you see peanut butter there, and it's an adorable page. And then the second page is a huge contrast because they're in the middle of the air and they're fighting the fire. Like Charlie, you said, he's like falling out of the plane and everything. It's crazy. I think like immediately, like Matt said, like there's this sense of literally as you go from page 1 to 2, literally like from Bill to Dragon. There's this sense of disconnection, almost like, what the fuck just happened? Like first time I read this, I actually thought I missed pages. Like I'm not kidding. I was like, is this how we're doing it? Like, because like
there's multiple entrees to take one bite.
Yes.
Yep.
That's what we're doing, basically.
It literally seems to me like it seems like every page is trying to be its own issue, but they don't have all of the transition and like all of like the fluid dialogue and stuff to kind of bring everything together, you know. So it's just kind of
you actually made your work more worthless.
It's a clip show. It's a clip show. Like,
it is a clip show. And you removed all the detail and all the meat. You took it out. It's like someone gave you a burger and it's just buns and lettuce, and everything else they just took out of it because they were like, you don't need this. And it's like, but these moments look amazing.
Or you ordered a burger and then the waiter just comes and tells you how it tastes, right?
That's even better. I like that a lot. Exactly. That's so much better. He's like, oh, you can picture the meat, the patty between the buns, and it's just like that's how this feels. It's like. You're summarizing moments that and all we're left thinking is, I would have loved to see that. Like I would have actually loved to see. Like, why can't I see that? Why are we glossing over this? Like of all the things we've glossed over, it's this that you've chosen to gloss over. Like I just think it's so strange, honestly.
And reading the RC code, it just made me more pissed off about it because even just saying like, well, someone had to go here. Bill had to go, I guess. It's like so it's a memorable issue, or more like that's pretty much what he said. It's like, oh, so you remember it or something happens in it, and he needed an ending, so let's just kill Bill. It's like, bruh, like we could have made 2 movies out of killing Bill, like, no, but this line here where Doug says like, I guess you noticed I wrote I guess a lot in my stories. I guess I should try to write more. I guess less. And it's like as we have a scene of a plane falling out of a plane again that we're yada yadaing, and we see a bunch of stuff that we've seen already or will see again. It's just like
it does seem like a last minute decision. It is. I can't help but think of that. Like this one quote here, this one line he says really like tells me a lot about this issue. But he says, wanting to give the story a lot of weight and show how this big passage of time is really affecting the characters. And then he's like, that's when I started thinking about going through these letters and Doug and give people a sense of long passage of time. And then he says, so I was like, oh man, this is actually going to work. And then he got super excited. I think it was just an idea that like he had, and he's like, oh that could work. It did work in a sense, but just like I don't know, it didn't fit with this series, how it was paced, what we were getting. It didn't fit.
It feels like you ran out of time or something. It doesn't feel like this is the planned trajectory of the series where we have 2 issues left and it's like a shit show, and everything we feel like we built up to, we've just kind of pushed in the background for a fake out at best.
Yeah. I do want to say though, the artwork is some of the best in the entire series. Like seriously, every page is incredible. Like truly like epic moments. But it is, again, it's disappointing because not the artwork, but just seeing these epic moments, because like you guys said, it feels like a clip show. Like it feels like a montage. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like a montage. It's like literally like, we don't want to show you the journey, so here's the outcome. And it's just like,
what was Kirkman's full spread page issue in Invincible? I forget that one. Was it near the end, or do you remember the context for the story? Was it just kind of in the middle? Does anyone remember that?
I don't remember the issue because like I don't remember the format of every issue. I remember the stories told in them necessarily.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he was talking about doing one with Invincible and how it really did work. So yeah, I don't remember really, but yeah, this to me felt like it could have been a good ending issue. Like Bash is I don't know if you said it on the recording or not, but talking about like them growing
like
up
if
and
it was
stuff.
the final issue where the people who already died, you already seen the battle, the big battle.
And it's like a 40-page issue or like a thick issue.
Yeah, without going into like super detail. So it's like we saw the 6-issue arc where this happens, but we can summarize the finer details in the final issue when you show the kids in the future reflecting on the past and how now they're like hardened, like battle hardened, like accelerated aging in terms of maturity because of what they've had to go through and how that's interrupted their normal lives. Like you could have done that. That would have been better. And that I feel like almost connects like thematically and in terms of structure to how you did Invincible, with like you had a very good juxtaposition of massive Invincible spoilers for the next 20 seconds. We have very big juxtaposition between the point of view of Tara as a young growing hero, and then you have the point of view of Marcus as Mark, right? Mark as a, I think it's like Marcus from Rogue Sun. Yeah, you think a Mark as an adult, because now he's in Nolan's shoes. Now we're no longer reflecting on we're no longer reflecting on the journey of Invincible. We're reflecting on where have we ended up, and that's why he redoes the quote, which I think is the best way to tie up the series. Like, what will you have after 500 years? And like that's how he ends it, because that was the beginning. That's what the whole thing was about. A lot of ways, it's not just it's about legacy. It's about evolution. It's about changing. It's about growing. It's like about all these things, and he summarized it perfectly. It's like poetic, but like here you don't have that because the story was never about like these kids' journey. Like not really. The kids were like an add-on, and like later on they became more part of the story. So it just feels like you have to get these people emotionally to where they need to be for the final 2 issues, and I feel like that's cheap. Like it's not like good storytelling. No, sorry. Like I'm not trying to be a dick again. Like I just don't think it's good. Like it's just not good. Like it really isn't. Especially weird. You're writing Void Rivals and like Dirac and Salila are like slow motion developing their relationship. Like it's very slow progression, but it's like very natural. It's organic and it feels earned. So like it's really weird to see the contrast between these two. Like it just, I don't know what the fuck. I just don't get it.
I'm not huge in the family dynamic throughout this whole thing, like having to fight with the family. Like I'm much more interested in like Wei-Lun and the history and even the love triangle than like having the kids there. And it's become this family book. And again, maybe that's where Kirkman is in his life with family. And when I get older, I might appreciate that more. But really, I feel like there's much more interesting threads to get at personally.
Even individually, like we don't know anything about any individual other than Owen and Wei-Lun, because every other individual serves to just push that story forward. Like literally, like Kelly getting the firepower. I was telling Charlie last episode, Kelly getting the firepower feels like one of two things. Either A, they need to kill someone more serious at the end of the issue, and they can do that by giving her the firepower, because then she'll be in the heat of the battle. Or B, it's by making it so that they need extra numbers, and you can justify it because Kelly's a member of the family and they didn't want to not have her there. But I was telling Charlie, I was like, it'd make more sense if you built the thread of Owen after all these years training Kelly like sporadically over time, because he felt like, look, I'm fighting this battle, this destiny battle, like like my whole life has come to this. I might not be around. You're gonna need to know this shit because you're gonna be the one, because that makes more sense. And instead of Kelly can just do it.
If Kelly wanted to, Owen, like she might not have known, but like Owen, like you like teach me some shit. Like I want to protect our family. Like after knowing all this big threat that's coming in, like I need to know how to save our family if that comes.
It'd be cool if we got a fight between Kelly and Ling Zan, and the firepower be the only way that you could keep up in like a martial arts battle.
Hell
Which wouldn't
yeah.
happen, but
Hell
like
yeah.
they seem to be on good
that.
terms and stuff like that. But I feel like I don't know. I mean, a fight between them would be fucking epic. I'd be in on that shit. That'd be
That
some
would
more
be
drama because we're really killing a lot of the drama and like leader kind of like
Yeah.
I feel like we've just kind of been like, all right, here's what could have been the finale of my book. Fuck it. Like we'll fast forward through it and like try to find some other end. It's like when Felicity did their finale, they did like they undid it, did like a dream sequence, like at the end. I said it was a dream. So like I feel like we almost have to like undo some shit. But either way, like the art's amazing. But yeah, this didn't. He wanted like the GI Joe look for like that scene where like the military is joining them. Like the art's
we
great.
see them team up with the military. That's at least a couple issues there, you know, like shit like that, teaming up with the military.
And the last page like fucks you up. Like even if you don't like the issue, the last page still hits you hard because it's like, oh my god, he's dead, and it's like the way it's brutal, you know.
No, that was cool. We even see one of the coolest moments in the series. We see every single person of their family combine a huge ass fireball with all their abilities, and you like that's just so glossed over.
And kill the dragon again. We knock out a dragon. Who cares?
Yeah, they killed the dragon again. Yeah, this time they're it's
imagine that's your city gets destroyed in the comic and it's like one page and no one gives a shit. Like, well, you know, whatever. But it's like that's an entire like U.S. city. Like that would like think of how many years it would take to like rebuild that. Like the years, the benefits, all that stuff. This for one page, you can't digest this issue when it's like so many things happening. And next issue we're gonna have the kids be like war vets when it's like we didn't really get to see them go through that. Of course, they're traumatized.
Yeah. That's just
like I think the first time the dragon was attacking Chicago, we had Haley, we had Owen, we had everyone in there, and we saw Haley or Owen and Doug like helping people to safety, like pedestrians, like kind of taking care of kind of that stuff, just a little bit, just one panel here and there, but that's all you need, right? Like is just little hints.
It feels like
this is why we give Kyle so much shit. Like whenever we're like, oh, don't end Radiant Black soon, because we've been traumatized by this shit. Like I'm serious. Like I remember right after this ended, I was like, guys, like if Kirkman's doing this, like is Radiant Black gonna keep going? Is he gonna feel motivated? Like, how do we know Moon Man comes out and he's just like, oh, I don't want to do that? And it's just like, no, Kyle reassured of his commitment to Radiant Black.
And I'm pretty sure he's gonna
go on. Yeah, and guys, you want to build up something that is yours. You want to tell a good story. You have to understand something that I think Ryan Parrott understands very, very well and is handling expertly in his book is that you can set up so many different threads and explore them later on. That is how storytelling in a world in a sandbox like this can be. And I don't need to tell you guys that. You guys know this. You're professional writers. You're damn good writers. So it's like, why not explore these threads that you've all done in previous books? That's the part that kills me, is that Invincible did this very well. I think the only thing Invincible does poorly is that time jump that happened one time that's never explained. It's the one time they did something where they just kind of did it and they were just like, we needed to do it. We're not going to explain it. It just happened, you know?
I wasn't huge on like the reboot little arc there, but it wasn't killer. Also, is Doug somewhat responsible for Bill's death here because he went outside for the letter and like picked up the letter and died like, at the mailbox. Maybe if he was inside the rubble, he might not have died. So we don't even.
Maybe I'm gonna say all. Yeah, I'm gonna say all the houses beside it look
it looks crumbled, but he could have survived in the inside, or maybe there's like a shelter. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm curious how Peanut Butter survived here. Like how is Bill perfectly fine, or Bill is like a crisp here, but Peanut Butter's just chilling completely fine, I mean. And he's holding him right. So
I think it was the Clark Kent, not the Clark Kent, the Pa Kent death in Man of Steel. Like, no, Peanut Butter, don't come close to me. I'm getting firebombed. You can't do anything. Just let me die. It's like, no, this was terrible. Like this. I mean, this ending obviously. It hits you, right? Like we lose Bill here, who's not gonna feel like shit because he's such, they adopted Owen, treat him like their own, and he's just getting letters from his grandson, taking care of Peanut Butter, dying. It's of course it's terrible, but most of us are miserable for their other reasons. Like after reading this, I don't know.
It feels like this is an emotional thing. Like the emotion's gonna be a big part of the last two issues, and they need to get certain characters emotionally somewhere. And that's genuinely how it feels. It feels another plot device. It doesn't feel like organic. It doesn't feel earned in a lot of ways. It just kind of feels like we had to kill someone. We had to make it dramatic. We had to punch you in the gut. So we chose Bill. But I'm like, and another thing is like, I don't think the evolution of how these kids talk is handled very well. Like you'd think they would choose their words more carefully, but Doug still sounds like a super kid, which I'm like, I kind of get. But
It's like fucking
exactly,
Zachary
exactly. So it's like if this kid's maturing, he's learning survival techniques. He's out there with his family. He should be a little, like the demeanor should be a little bit changed. Like he should, of course, still be Doug, but like he should be battle hardened Doug. Like
he's tired. That's as much
maturity.
He's
tired.
I'm
Exactly.
tired.
Exactly. He should have like shadows under his eyes. He should be stressed. Like I like that he says he's scared. I think that's very honest, very earnest. But I think there should be a little bit more maturity there. Like a little bit, not in terms of like him not being afraid. No, that's totally fine. In terms of how he's carrying himself in the letters. Like, you know what I mean? There's no progression. So it really does feel like it's one issue. It's like it's weird.
One line I do love. I don't know if they're making fun of kind of themselves for this, or it could just be Doug. But Doug says, he's talking about all the masters fighting with them. He says, "Oh, there's Master Ping, Master Shun, Master Chan, and ... all the other ones." I was with him there. I was like, maybe they don't even Chan. It's nice hearing shout out Master Chan.
And my kudos to you guys. Those are hard names to memorize, right? Because in comics they stand out a lot being more like Asian inspired names, and
for sure
it's hard for you guys to remember. It's work, and you can. I wouldn't be shocked if Kirkman forgot a couple of these names, forgot who he's writing
for sure.
Like,
but even like Wei Lun, like names like that, like Ling Zan, like those we've had to remember just because of things they've showed us. Like all the other ones, like they've given us no reason to remember their names, unfortunately.
There's a page where they say like, "Oh, and Dad learned how to toss these small fireballs to target the snakes individually." Then it's just
that was cool. That sounded cool as hell.
Show it. You can even show it in the one page thing. Just like show the fireballs like burning out the snakes. Like,
I don't know. I took that as he can maybe shoot a big one, kind of split it off into kind of little ones.
That's cool.
Sounds cool as hell.
It was just
like you can tell him bringing up G.I. Joe. He's already thinking about Energon. I know he's using it in reference to shit in this book, but it's just like it just tells me that his head's already there. Like he's already thinking about launching Energon. Yeah, like
with Andy, just dropping the toys. Like I don't want to play with you anymore, and he's got the Energon universe, and it's like
it really feels like that. It really feels like it. As a reader, feels like it.
Yep. We want to be engaged. We're all in on this, and we bummed out all of us. So obviously, clearly, I've seen comments in response to this has been pretty much universally the same. There's not many people going like, "This is how it's done, boys. This is the firepower I love."
No, some people were like, "This is a gut punch. It's so good," and it's like I respect that, but it's just like, guys, like. Read the whole story again, and you'll feel how cheap it is, especially in sequential.
It could be a gut punch in a couple of ways, but it's a gut punch. Like it is sad, like for sure. Seeing the death, it's always sad. How can it not be, right?
Yeah.
And the storytelling device is a good one. I just don't think what they've done with it is good. I don't think the letters is a bad format for telling. Again, like we said, like if it was the final issue, the kids reflecting on their past, and now they're like the adults, and like life's all fucked up, and he wants to show you what it's like in the future. And that's actually, when we think about it, it's a stark contrast to the beginning where like life is in suburbia and life is good. He's escaped his past. So it's like, that would have been a cool place to like do as a juxtaposition to the start of the story, as in like the sins of the father kind of thing. You know what I mean? Even though they're not necessarily sins, but they kind of carried on. And it's interesting because Owen started out as looking for his family, and now like if their family's gone and it's the kids, there's that extra layer there. But it's just like you didn't want to do that. It's just kind of like
you could see it similar to The Walking Dead, where like Owen, maybe like Owen's gone or something like that, and he's carrying on the legacy of like, and he's like, oh, my dad, and he could see him working on like doing carpentry or whatever, the wood shop, and like doing the paint, carrying on the family business, right? Like doing, but like peacefully. Like, okay, we move past that, and my kids are gonna know my dad, their dad for sure, or their grandfather, or their history, some shit. Like, there's a lot you could do, but this was unearned. You're right. The method wasn't flawed, but the execution and the timing were not where it needed to be.
What I told Matt when we read this the first time, like as it came out, I told him, I said, let's see what they skipped this for, because if they skipped this for something, then the something they skipped it for has to be good, right? Like, because if they skip this, which is what they've been building, it's not good. Not in my opinion. So spoiler that, but like we'll see next episode. Everyone will have their own opinions. Maybe Charlie will think it's really good.
I haven't read it yet.
Reread it and change our mind.
We've read 29, maybe not 30 at this point. Tell us
it's good. Yeah, we haven't read 30. We've only read 29. 30, we're gonna release the review the day of. So it's going to be so much fun. We're going to read it fresh and have it, chat about it with everybody. Maybe we'll even do it live. And I'm excited to talk about 30. And I'm excited to read it because it is longer. And we saw, you guys, I showed you the update from Lunar saying it got extended 8 pages. Like it got 8 more pages of story. So maybe they're trying to really tie up loose ends well. But I am like, honestly, this was a really big bummer. This was, in my opinion, the worst issue of the entire series.
Oh, yeah. There's no competition.
And I think the hard part about this was like when we talked about this last episode is I actually liked last issue and issue 26 until I read this one. Like this one just kind of makes
I agree.
everything else worse.
I agree.
Unfortunately,
It's like a joke played on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's like the punchline. It's like when South Park they did the Battle of Heaven and Hell in like in season 9 with the PSP episode. Like, oh look at that was like a Lord of the Rings battle they were narrating, and so like, oh the soldiers over there. It's like it feels like you don't have the budget to portray it or something like that, or the time or the real estate. Like there's so much of this we wanted to see, and it's like why would you build this thing you're just going to skip over? I hope you have what's better, but who they're building up as a villain just seems like out of nowhere, and there's not enough stakes and whatever. Yeah, exactly. Next time's gonna be funny.
The next episode's gonna be so funny because people are gonna be like, "This thing."
I'm sure I'm gonna be pretty surprised. I wanted to ask you, Matt. Do you have any theories? We kind of we learned last issue, Master Shaw. He was a person before. Like he has lost memories before. My thinking is either he's Owen's grandpa or he was just the first person to learn the firepower, but he was using it so dangerously they kind of had to lock him away, banish him into the stone. Do you have any thoughts about Master Shaw?
If he was like related to Owen, but yeah, I can see him being powerful and just being locked away. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I'm not as familiar with you guys because I haven't been like podcasting or and stuff
for sure.
And also like I'm burned out after 2028, but like
that's also
I like your theory.
And it's been a while since then. When did this issue come out? Sorry, when did 28 come out? So it's been a few months, I guess. Like
it's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been at least 2 months, but I'll tell you in literally 1 sec. So it came out October 25, 2023.
Okay.
November, December, January, February. It took them 4 months to release the last issue. That last issue better be the best last issue ever to make up for this, because like that's crazy. 4 months to do the last issue. Oh man,
we should. Otherwise, there won't be a roast off. It'll be the roast to Robert Kirkman. And no, I'm just kidding. But like, really, I like it. I like most of what Kirkman does, but this just. I don't know how someone reads this and doesn't feel like gypped, like they missed out on something like this. You got, there's a reason I'm here. This is my debut on the Firepower podcast because we
need someone to temper the balance.
Yeah, and I like this. I love this series. Really, when it started, it's one of my favorites. Whenever a new issue would come out, it'd be like one of the first. Depending on, it'd be like one of my top 3 comics that I read. Like it was like let's go. But this, it feels like I gotta go. I have this. It feels like we're shuffling other plans around, and I have to wrap this up. It's like we acquired the mutants in the MCU. And so we have to change the path going forward completely, and some other stuff has to go on the back burner.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. But again, honorable mention to the incredible artwork. The artwork never disappoints. It never goes down, never dips in quality. The art and colors are consistent throughout the whole series. Same with Russ Wooten's letters. I mean, the guy's a freaking pro. He's been doing it a long time, even before, probably before Invincible. But
the colors are really fantastic.
Yeah, beautiful. So it really is just the direction of the story that we felt like was really disappointing. Yeah. So
all in all, to be good writing in it for me to be that engaged and to be pissed when it goes, the wrong way. So
like I don't think this is a terrible comic book. It's just like Game of Thrones. We compare to Game of Thrones. It's like all you can think about is how it ended poorly, even though the other seasons are amazing because it's just that's how it ended. That was what it all came down to.
It's very just hard to believe this is like he actually thought this was the best course of action. Just seeing all of his other work, seeing all the endings.
Now you know I was complaining so much before.
How he ends stuff, right? Like it's
this issue after recording Green and Black Pods, like we would say to Charlie, after multiple episodes, but did you read it yet? It's like, no, I haven't read it yet. Like we'd be like fired up. Like we were fired up.
This was a
like,
big one.
We were fired up. I would like rant. I would be like, man, fucking Kirkman did this.
And actually, for me with Game of Thrones, I was telling these guys, I watched that years later, so I went into it knowing the ending, knowing the perception of the ending. So I went into that and I saw the ending. I was going into that with super low expectations, and I didn't hate it as much as I thought I would have. But I can't say the same for this, unfortunately.
We should have just drawn a Starbucks cup into this.
And it's so hard for me to criticize Firepower as well. Like to be like, I didn't like something Kirkman did, because I don't think I've ever not liked something Kirkman did. Like I don't think I've ever really disliked something Kirkman did, but I dislike this issue a lot. I really do. I don't hate it, but it's hard. It really upset me. And I was telling the guys, I was buying every variant for every issue of the series. And I just stopped giving a fuck after 28. I was like, I don't
guess
care if I have
like,
the variants.
yeah, it's a little harsh to say, but I think this is the issue that kind of didn't ruin the series, but diminished what it could have been.
It
Definitely
dampened my
diminished what
interest
it
for
could have been.
sure.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% like in the camp that Kirkman can't still nail this landing somehow. Like he must have something. Like
I wouldn't be surprised if he came out and nailed it. The guy's
There's
I
like
think we're all rooting for that. I think it's safe to say we're
100%,
all rooting for
100%,
Kirkman to bounce back and kill it, and we have faith that he can. But it's a matter of will they? And
does he care enough?
So.
Does he
this
care?
Way to, this way to our faith. Kirkman, I mean, he's got the vaults of money and he's killing it with Invincible, and he's got whatever comic toys he dreamed as a kid. Like, and I get it. Like, imagine your favorite IPs as a kid. You now can do whatever the fuck you want. You can pick.
I respect it.
Yeah. I can see getting.
Like, I don't blame him. I just wish he gave it his all before he moved on. Like, that's it. Yeah. I wish he really was like, let's finish this on a high, and now I'm gonna do Void Rivals. It sucks that it had to end early, but we're gonna end with a bang. And maybe, honestly, maybe he thinks that's what he did. Maybe his intents were pure, and he really thought that this would work, and it just didn't. Sometimes those things happen, and we don't like. This isn't gonna stop me liking Kirkman. This isn't gonna make me not try Kirkman books in the future. No. This just has me disappointed with the outcome of this series. That's it. I will continue to buy Kirkman,
and we're so disappointed because of how
because we love Kirkman.
Because of how good he is the thing. Like,
he's built up a reputation for himself. Everyone knows he's one of the best writers around. He's one of the most exciting. He has a lot of good ideas, and he ends books so well. And I think that's where our disappointment comes from. That and loving the book so much. Nobody here is not a fan of Kirkman or wants to see this book be bad. No, nobody feels that way. We love all these creators, so that's why we're so bummed.
And his stories feel complete, and that's why this feels like we're missing a crucial part of these characters' lives just to get to that ending.
This is what we've been building up to the entire series, right? And we are just told about it.
Just wait until you read 29.
I kind of forget.
Can it get worse? Maybe.
I don't know,
but I have a few thoughts of what's going to happen.
I swear I rolled my eyes on the last page. I tell Matt my exact reaction was I was reading and I'm like, oh my. That was my reaction. I was like, oh my god! And I put my.
I was like, you're surprised. I didn't think that what they sacrificed for where they got.
You messaged me. You were like, what the fuck was that?
Can't wait.
I was so happy when he messaged me because sometimes I think I'm the only one that feels this way. Maybe my expectations are too high. Maybe I'm just an asshole. And then like I went online and saw other reviews, and then I saw like Matt messaged me, Ali messaged me, and I was like, when everyone's kind of feeling that way, it makes me feel better because it's not just us. It's like. It just genuinely just didn't take, and it's okay. But like,
not just us, and there's no just us. It's just bullshit. No, I'm just kidding. But like, I love this book. I hope you stick the landing. But boys, they like the RC Coda. They're acting like, oh, you did all this, and how did you pull this off? I'm like, whoa.
I think that was the biggest part. Like, it seems like they're like, I don't know. It's not like they seem like they're.
It seems like they're indifferent. Like, you know,
it seems like they're indifferent, but it also seems like they're so like, oh, we nailed this. Like it's like
he doesn't have his finger on the pulse, I feel like, of the readers.
But my biggest thing is, does he actually believe this, or is he just saying this because we know how good he is? But that's my biggest question. But I can't wait to see how it wraps up.
Is still great too. Like it is good. So it's like it's weird.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I don't know.
I apologize for the negativity of this episode. We love this book and we had to be honest. And sometimes it's not necessarily what you want to read or hear, but it's the truth. It's how we felt. We will for sure be reading 29 and 30. For what it's worth, 29 is a better issue than this. It's nowhere near as disappointing. It just has like the one moment, and that issue was disappointing for me. But overall, the issue was decent. So like at least there's that. So like you see us
if you like
it paced better. I'm sure. I don't have to read it to know it's paced better.
Yes.
Yeah. Right in. Looking forward if you have a defense for this issue. If you love this issue, let us know. And I would love to hear like a devil's advocate defense, and maybe I'd enjoy it more with your
hell yeah. Tell us why.
Let us know what worked for you. 100%. Tell us why you loved it. Would love to hear that. I love encouraging those kinds of discussions. Like don't be mean about it. Just tell us this is what worked for you. I can understand why it didn't work. Like I honestly can see why it would work for some people, and I respect that, but for me it didn't.
Yeah. And on the binges would be better too, but right now, it's depending on what comes after. But right now, as you're reading it weekly and you've had delays for these 5 issues, and even then,
honestly though, even when you read it on the binge, it feels actually worse because it's so fast. It's 3 issues from 25 of them just training other people to get the power. Then Kelly gets it conveniently, and then this. So it's like it just doesn't feel like. And then the worst part isn't just that; it's the part that they took a big hiatus between the end of 24 and the return of 25. after which they announced that that's the final arc. So I really felt like we're taking a break to kind of really give it the best, like, you know, I mean, make sure it's like really strong. But and maybe that's what they thought, but I don't think it worked out personally. Yeah, we're gonna do 29 tomorrow probably, and it'll all release within the next couple of days before Wednesday, where we're gonna do either a live show or we'll upload the review that day for Firepower number 30, the end of the series. We've been looking forward to it. $5.99 US issue, and I believe it's like 52 something like that pages, 60 pages. So the pretty big one. We're very excited, and yeah, we'll see you guys then. So make sure you stay roasty and practice those Firepower skills.